2023 was an incredibly interesting year in terms of games that affected my soul. I'm in my late 30s, and a fear that's frequently on my mind is becoming too set in my ways, being too unwilling to try something new, and just general stagnation. This past year shot any of those fears dead cold, as I experienced things that changed my perception of what I like in a game, as well as proved to me that I'm still capable of learning something new. That's a lot of waxing poetic about video games, so let's just get into it. I'm splitting up my top 10 games of 2023 into two top 5s. Games that I played for the first time in 2023, and games that were released in 2023. Let's start with the ones that didn't come out in 2023. For most of my life, I completely avoided horror games. I have bad anxiety, and jump scares would skyrocket my heart rate in a way that I found deeply uncomfortable. The past few years, I've been trying to dip my toes into a bit of the genre, and I found it very rewarding. Mothered is an extremely interesting one because it tells its story in a fascinating way. The premise is that you returned home from some sort of surgery, and there's a mannequin claiming to be your mother. It's unnerving in a way that needs to be experienced, with satisfying puzzles that unravel the mystery of what's going on. Its graphical style enhances the mood and really makes me consider what I prefer in the horror genre. I didn't play horror games back during the PlayStation 1 era, so is it nostalgia for other games that time that makes me think horror is more effective when harkening back to those days? I'd like to think the real reason is my mind filling in the blanks, so to speak, making the experience more immersive and effective in unnerving me. Either way, I know it works incredibly well in Mothered. Also, after you complete the game, you can play its sequel hidden in a demo version of the game. Absolutely bonkers to do, and I'm really excited for their future games. Signalis wears its Silent Hill 2 influences like a badge of honor, so I feel I won't sound dismissive in the slightest when I say, Signalis is if Silent Hill 2 was for me. I mean, Silent Hill 2 is already for me, so I guess... it's kind of more for me, you know? It's... Alright, look, it's gay. What I'm saying is Signalis is women and gay, and so it penetrates my heart a little further. The gameplay itself is really enjoyable, and did a good job at keeping me off balance in just the right way, and I found the puzzles rather enjoyable to try and figure out. The story absolutely kept my mind occupied for a while after finishing it, as there was a lot of feelings and emotions in it that I found myself relating to. Like Mothered, there isn't much more I want to say about it because I think it should be experienced, other than that I really enjoyed my time with it, and I felt emotionally moved. You know, I don't need a story to be about lesbians for me to relate to it, but as time goes on, more games are coming out that are primarily about lesbians that are really hitting hard for me. Like, if Signalis' main character was a dude, like in Silent Hill 2, I'd still really love it and emotionally connect with it. Like, 100%. Absolutely. But it's just kinda nice that it's gay, you know? Hits me a little harder. I'm glad more media is being created by more people, and while we don't need to perfectly relate to the characters we play as, it's nice that it can happen more often in more varied genres of games. Also, it has women without feet, so 10 out of 10. I'm gonna be honest. Don't feel like garbage. Kind of vibing. That's nice. As a huge Undertale fan, I was happy to finally play it for the first time in 2023. Okay, so the deal is that I didn't get a chance to play it when it came out, so I watched a bunch of Let's Plays and absolutely devoured it that way. I never got around to actually playing it myself, and when I started streaming full-time, I decided to wait until it felt, it was the right time to do it. That time ended up being during this year, and it was an absolute blast. I mean, there's not really much else I can say. I mean, it's Undertale, It kicks ass. You know that. Libra is a 2D action RPG that takes everything I love in a video game and distills it down to a pure, refined liquid that would get you high from a couple sips. It then fills an Olympic-sized pool with this liquid, which you can dive and swim into until you are completely exhausted and still not be sick of it. This game was made over a decade by a single developer, has weird stock backgrounds, uses free music, and somehow it all comes together into a wonderful game that I love to pieces. The first 30 minutes feel like the first episode of an anime, hook you into an engrossing story, and leaves you on a wild, satisfying ride. It took me about 60 hours to complete the game the first time, and I loved every minute. I also loved every minute of my second playthrough on a harder difficulty, which also took me 60 hours. Even after that, I started playing again on the impossible difficulty because I love this game that damn much. Libra is absolutely a perfect game for me, full of systems upon systems that all inject my brain with an immense feeling of number go up and I love being strong. If there's anything I'd say against it, it's that it has a bit of the 90s anime pervert jokes here and there, which they're not a deal breaker for me, but they're not what I'm there for. I only bring it up because it helps illustrate why I love projects made by a small group of people or even a single person passion project. You get experiences that are these pure forms of expression that aren't created by some committee trying to maximize sales from the most amount of people. Yeah, Libra is rough around the edges here and there, but who cares? Everything that's amazing about it makes all these small things not matter in the slightest. Just like how an engaging story I connect with isn't ruined because it has a small hot springs joke section, that I roll my eyes at. I put over 120 hours into this game over, 2023, and I'm probably going to put in at least another 50 in 2024. By the way, speaking of projects made by solo devs, 2023 was the year I found out that I was separated from Gensokyo at birth and found my way back home. I got into Touhou out of curiosity and figured I'd play the fighting games and not be able to handle the shmups. And I cannot stress how wrong I was. I tried Touhou once about 10 years ago and found out that my hands shake while playing bullet hell and stressed me out in a way no other genre of game did. I assumed it wasn't for me, I couldn't handle it, and I moved on. Now here I am with a bunch of normal 1cc's and a hard 1cc in Perfect Cherry Blossom and Imperishable Night. I own Fumos, I've read a ton of the official manga, and my Twitch channel is full of Touhou emotes. Touhou's just the best, man. I love it. I started going through the games in March, and if anything, I love it even more now. If you told me in 2022 that by the end of this year I'd be getting 1cc's and shmups and bullet hells, I would not have believed you. But now, I understand the joy of dodging Danmaku. I want to do a more in-depth video about getting into Touhou in the future, so we'll just leave it at that for now. Touhou would have easily been the biggest gaming-related thing to happen to me during this year, if it wasn't for a certain other game. Wow, those are cool games I played for the first time in 2023 that didn't come out in 2023. Shoutouts to Myst and Mega Man Legends, which I also played for the first time this past year and loved, but alas, not everything can be in the top 5. In fact, only 5 can. Now it's time for the top 5 games that did come out in 2023. You ever kick a helicopter? Oh, come on. I was about to say, oh, do you ever kick a helicopter? Don't make me look like a fool. Hold on. Okay. You ever kick a son of a bit? No. You know what? Fuck you. Ruining my day. Die. I've never played an Armored Core game before, and the only FromSoft game I played is the first Dark Souls. I do think mechs kick ass though, so I ended up really enjoying AC6. The characters and world are really interesting. Playing with different weapon loadouts was great. I put a long Cherno on my PC. Honestly, a great time. I will say, playing with mouse and keyboard ended up leading to a lot of frustration because the auto lock-on turns off if you move your mouse in the slightest. And with how fast enemy ACs move by the end of the game, I actually would have had a smoother time aiming and keeping up with things on controller. That aside, I had a great time. Oh, and the game never shows you what anyone looks like. You only ever hear their voices or see their mechs, but here are my feelings by the end of the game. If Rusty looks good in a skirt and long hair, I'd marry him. Otherwise, I'd marry Ire. I mean, she can't, like, directly read my thoughts, right? I'm pretty sure it doesn't work like that, so... Otherwise, You! No! What the fuck? What the fuck? I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I'm so fucking mad. So, I like rhythm games, but I'm fickle and picky when it comes to them. I've often joked that I'm rhythm game monogamous, and I'm married to Beatmania 2DX. But there are quite a few others I enjoy. Final Barline absolutely kicks ass, since I enjoy how the charts work, the charts are fun, and it has a ton of options that I tend to feel are mandatory in rhythm games. It has high speed settings and lane covers to help make your timing better and read the notes easier. It has a scoring system where your score is based on the actual timing of your notes, and the full combo is a separate thing from the score. It has some fun RPG elements to team building and collecting things to do on the side, and it's full to the brim with Final Fantasy music. On top of that, it has a ton of Saga music and Mana music, other Final Fantasy adjacent titles. It's just really fun. I will say, I wish the DLC also brought in characters from the other games. We could have some Saga characters in there, Mana characters, Alive characters. But at least the music's in there, you know? Really great game. .30xdx kicks ass. Like, really kicks ass. The movement feels wonderful, the inputs feel on point, I feel so incredibly in control of my character, the power-ups are so fun to get, Okay, sorry. Got a little ahead of myself there. .30xdx is a Mega Man X roguelike. You play as Nina or Ace, which is the X and Zero of the game. Go through procedurally generated stages, get power-ups, armor upgrades, boss weapons, take on challenges to get extra augmentations. It's just so damn good. You know, like I said, everything about how the characters control feels amazing, and it's so much fun to just pick up the game and play through a run of it. Roguelikes can be really hit or miss for me, but playing Mega Man X stages in a random order with the final stage segment works extremely well, and everything about this is very satisfying. Also, I cannot get over how smooth the co-op process is. I don't think I've ever played a game where it was that easy and fast to suddenly be playing with a friend online. It blew my mind. Amazing game that I know I'll keep coming back to. We got a special enemy over here. The Super Mario RPG remake is good because it's faithful. Like, extremely faithful. It tries to spice up the combat with bonuses for timed hits and triple team attacks, and honestly, I enjoyed it. The redone soundtrack is good, and there's an option to switch back to the original, which is always nice to have in these remakes and remasters. Finding that I don't really know what to say about it. It's a faithful remake, and I'm very thankful for that because this game is dear to me, and if they really messed around with it, I know I would not have liked it. I won't talk about the bonus content that they added. Other than that, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, they did a good job remaking this, and as a longtime fan, I would say that I am satisfied. I got my 30. I'm happy now. I got my 30. Void Stranger is my personal cultural reset. I am now a different person having completed it. I uploaded a spoiler-free video describing it. I'm currently now working on a larger, in-depth video about how much I love it and why. It is, in no uncertain terms, my favorite game of the year, and I can't stop thinking about it. Trying to talk about it here will take me far too long, so if you want to learn more, I implore you to go and watch the video on my channel titled Falling in Love with Void Stranger, which as I mentioned is spoiler-free. Please look forward to the much longer video I'm working on, where I will be talking about it in depth, as well as bearing my soul. And with that, you have my top games that I played in 2023. My explanations were short and sweet, but I thought it'd be fun to just make a little list like this. Where will these games end up in the Voxandra Top 100 Video Games list? Tune in on March 2024 to find out! There were a ton of other things that I played for the first time that I thoroughly enjoyed, but these are the ones that stuck out to me the most. I had some big changes on my channel this year, which was pretty awesome, and some damn good streams. I really appreciate everyone watching and supporting me and making all of this possible. It means the world to me, truly. I'm really looking forward to 2024, by the way. Can you believe we're getting a new Saga game and a new Mana game in the same year? I am so freaking hyped over it. Emerald Beyond is gonna kick ass. I am so excited. Oh, and if you've only ever watched me on YouTube, then you need to get over to my Twitch channel where I stream most days of the week. YouTube is just where I put up the rare videos that I make now and again. Twitch is my primary channel where you can normally find me. And if you want to support me beyond watching me there, watching these videos, subbing on Twitch, I do have a Patreon. It's just patreon.com/Voxandra. I'm very lucky that I'm able to live off streaming, and it's all because of everyone's support. Seriously, thank you all so much, and Happy New Year!